Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, now that I think of it, has Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez ever won a public battle? You know, these viral massive moments between two figures? Whenever Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is part of the equation, it almost always ends up in her getting completely embarrassed. Generally, it ends with a pity party, her crying or recording a TikTok video claiming that she was murdered.
Here's your word. Here's your word.
I was murdered.
You were murdered. Okay.
Or, of course, playing the usual leftist victim card. I'm receiving threats online. My life is literally in danger because Paul Gosar tweeted a stupid anime clip, a scene from Attack on Titan where the protagonist character takes down a Titan, where AOC's face was superimposed. The infamous moment between her and Ben Shapiro, where she was challenged to a debate and Ben was offering $10,000 to her favorite charity. She claimed that that request for debate was, quote, akin to being catcalled. Once again, the victim narrative. She's a victim of misogyny. And then, of course, the most recent and the most infamous moment with internet troll legend Alex Stein, Primetime 99, where he recorded this video.
See, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
I want to do a little selfie.
I love it. My favorite AOC. Nice to meet you, AOC. Look how sexy she looks in that dress. Woo, I love it, AOC. Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
And then, of course, AOC turned the whole thing into a pity party.
I'm here in the Capitol. See this guy right there? Right there. When I was walking up, he said, hey, right in front of a Capitol police officer. Hey, here's this, look at that big ass. Look at that big, juicy booty, this Latina, like whatever, you know, all the bunch of racist, sexist stuff.
Not exactly sure what she was expecting from that video, but I think she was probably trying to start a whole viral campaign to cancel Alex Stein and to have his press pass revoked. Well, that thoroughly failed. See what I mean with this trend of AOC generally losing in these moments? In fact, funnily enough, the only really significant thing that came from AOC's pity party video was this.
Big, juicy booty. Big juicy booty. Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty. Big juicy booty. Big juicy booty. Look at that big ass. Look at that big juicy booty.
Yet again, another Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez meme to add to the list. There's also another thing to add to the list, possibly another AOC big fat L to go straight into the loss column, as she's now getting sued by Alex Stein, and there's a pretty good chance that she loses in court. I know a little bit of a long-winded intro, but adding all the context, we've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so it's all relevant to that interaction, that very unique interaction that AOC had with comedy legend Alex Stein. After those events, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez ended up blocking Alex Stein on Twitter, which really isn't surprising at all. Leftoids love to craft their little bubbles, their little safe spaces online, and so blocking tends to be their first impulse. But for AOC, I really wouldn't advise it, especially not on her public official account. Alex Stein taking the troll to a whole other level, now suing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to unblock him on Twitter. Comedian Alex Stein filed a lawsuit against New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Wednesday for blocking him on Twitter, citing a federal court case from 2019 that found Donald Trump, when he was president, violated the constitutional rights of those that he blocked on Twitter, according to CNBC. I love and care about this country so much, Stein told the Post-Millennial, that I am able to put aside my political differences and try to come to the table with all politicians, especially AOC, because we align on more things than she probably thinks, and I want to be able to communicate with her through Twitter because it's the modern day digital town hall, and political free speech is the most important protected speech in my opinion. I love AOC and I hope that she can find it in her heart to unblock me, Stein added. And while this may seem like a publicity stunt, and I mean, let's be fair, it probably is, it's yet again another excellent troll from Alex Stein, it's not a frivolous case, it's not a frivolous lawsuit. He actually has a case. In fact, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has faced a very similar lawsuit previously. AOC settles lawsuit and apologizes for blocking critic on Twitter. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez apologized for blocking the Twitter account of a former Brooklyn assemblyman as she agreed to settle a First Amendment lawsuit, the New York Times reports. The ruling set a precedent that any elected official, from a local mayor to the president, who blocks a constituent on Twitter could be found guilty of violating that constituent's First Amendment rights. Now, of course, there's a little bit of a distinction between these two cases here, because Alex Stein technically isn't AOC's constituent. Although, to take this to a whole other level of troll, the most epic move that Alex Stein can make right now would be to move to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's district and officially become one of her constituents, further reinforcing his claim. And honestly, if there was a GoFundMe for Alex Stein to move to New York, Lord knows that he would need a GoFundMe considering how expensive rents are in New York City, well, I would subscribe to that and I would donate on a monthly basis. But getting back on track here, at the end of the day, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, yes, she represents her district, but she's still a publicly elected federal government official. And there is actually a decent chance that Alex Stein may actually be able to pull this one off, because there's now a decent amount of legal precedent suggesting that federal government officials cannot block online critics. Again, from back in 2019, it was deemed that Trump cannot block critics from his Twitter account, appeals court rules. The decision may have broader implications for how the First Amendment applies to officials' accounts in the social media era. President Trump has been violating the Constitution by blocking people from following his Twitter account because they criticized or mocked him. A federal appeals court ruled on Tuesday the ruling could have broader implications for the First Amendment and how it applies in the social media era. Because Mr. Trump uses Twitter to conduct government business, he cannot exclude some Americans from reading his posts and engaging in conversations in his replies to them because he does not like their views. A 3-judge panel of the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in New York ruled unanimously. Now, I guess the layman legal question here for us that aren't legal experts or constitutional scholars is where the line is drawn in terms of whether or not you're a constituent. I mean, technically, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is using a Twitter account that conducts government business. She works in Washington. She's an elected representative. I guess you could say that she's part of the federal government scheme. She's a lawmaker. She votes on and she writes bills, even though her bills, of course, we know never actually make it to the floor, but she votes and writes bills that don't only affect her constituents, but rather all Americans. Technically, I guess you could argue that she represents all Americans, and that all Americans are her constituents, and she is conducting official government business from her account, the same exact one, her representative AOC account, her official government account, which is the one that she blocked Alex Stein on. So it's looking like there's a good chance here that AOC picks up another massive L. Of course, it's not 100% guaranteed. She might, in fact, get her first W ever, if you could really call that a W, winning a legal case justifying your hypersensitivity and inability to handle the existence of a comedian on Twitter. But honestly, considering AOC's track record here, it's probably going to be another big fat L to add to the list, and the list is even longer than I mentioned in the intro. There's also the whole southern border fiasco, the AOC attempt to try to take on Elon Musk on Twitter fail. The list just goes on and on and on. Oh, and how could I forget she's now facing an ethics investigation into campaign finance violations after accepting money from Vogue to attend the Met Gala. It's never ending with young AOC, but hey, at least it's entertaining. I thought you guys would enjoy this topic, so if you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know we'd love to have you here at the Liberal Hive Mind. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.